Now let's face the elephant in the room straight away. There've been a lot of people who have been scammed on Flippa, just outright taken advantage of. But Flippa has cleaned up a lot, right? Not to say there's not some dud businesses out there. There's dud businesses for sale in every marketplace, on every broker and everywhere you can look. But what I want to do is I want to show you how to find good websites on Flippa. Hi, I'm Jared Krause from buyingonlinebusinesses.com. And in my opinion, Flippa has changed a lot, right? Since back in the day, yes, there were so many people on Flippa putting out sites that weren't really valuable or had no value, and people were getting taken advantage of. Now, they put in some strict contingency plans and some strict things in place since Blake Hutchison, who's the CEO of Flippa now, has been in that chair. And he's been on my summit, he's been on my podcast, and he's really highlighted some of the changes that they've made within Flippa to make it a better and fairer marketplace. So what I want to do is share my screen and just go through Flippa and point out why some sites are bad, because yes, there's still those dud listings out there, like I mentioned, and then why some sites are actually good, right? I want to tell you and show you the difference between those two, the bad sites versus the good sites. And then I want to share you the risks within those websites as well, and maybe how to minimize or remove those risks. And then things that I'd be checking throughout doing website due diligence that are really, really important for you to know and become conscious of to ensure you understand the business before you even go away and buy it. And then we'll be looking at some of the growth opportunities. Just to preface this is I do this a lot, right? I look at hundreds of businesses for myself and people in our community, right? In the Buying Online Business community. And we've had people buy sites making a few $100s per month to making tens of thousands of dollars per month. So if you're wanting to buy a site and get an income earning site, stick around, because this is going to be an absolutely insanely valuable video. For the best advice on how to buy an online business that's past that 90% failure rate that all startups face and has a proven track record of making money month over month, hit the subscribe button. Also hit the bell notification so you can get updated when I upload new videos about this every single week. All right, I'm going to share my screen with you in a second, but I have something really cool that I want to share with you guys. When you buy a website, like a blog, for example, or any sort of content site, are you going to be the person that's writing all of that content and build all the backlinks and to get more traffic? Now, some people instead actually like to build their own team, which, let's face it, is quite hard. But if you don't want to build a team, which is a big process in itself, why don't you hire a team, right? So some of the people in the Bob community have used nichewebsite.builders. So that's nichewebsite.builders without the .com. They've used them and for creating content and link building, and they love that it's completely hands-off approach, right? Where niche website builders do the keyword research all the way to uploading the completed articles for you. And they do all the backlink building if that's what you're after as well. So if you're not wanting to do this yourself and build a team, if you're after a killer team that you can hire to create great website content and build backlinks, check out nichewebsite.builders. So that's nichewebsite.builders. All right, let's share my screen. Let's roll up our sleeves here and look at Flippa and see what's good, what's not good, and what we should be looking out for. All right, here we go. I've just logged into Flippa, and I don't usually go on Flippa, but what we're doing here is I'm just going to share with you how I'd scroll through this leisurely and what I'd be looking at as I'm looking at sites to buy. Now, normally there's an editor's choice section. So let's look at the services they've got going on here. They've got the Exit Podcast. My little head, I'm going to move that around. Okay, so you can choose different types of businesses you want to buy. Let's just scroll through a couple, right? So we've got some businesses in the higher end, right? So Sugar Babe, Close Down IA. Most people aren't going to be looking at these types of businesses because not everybody has a spare $500,000 just sitting in their pocket. So what we'll do is we'll just look at these, browse top online businesses. So these are the top online businesses, okay? So that's what I'd like you guys to do is if you're looking at businesses, look at the top ones, right? So let's just see more. And these are the editor's choice ones. So some of these are sponsored, as you can see. Those ones that have that yellow mark here, people are paying to put their ad up in a higher position. And then some of these are editor's choice, right? So this is what Flippa is recommending is good businesses. So you're going to know that these are the top listings, right? So it's good for you to just go through the editor's choice and start there before you end up scrolling through and looking at some of the other ones. So the editor's choice ones are There's a few and far between, right? So there's only two, right? Which is up around that $500,000 range. So let's go look at something that's around the $50,000 range that isn't confidential, right? Isn't hiding the URL. Now, there is a reason people hide the URL, okay? And that's important for you to understand. People hide the URL because they don't want people who come on Flippa to come and scroll through the site and see what niches are working and see what business models are working and recreate those businesses and become competition. People don't want to do that, A, in case they don't sell the site, and B, so the person who purchases the site doesn't have a boatload of competition as soon as they purchase the site. So that's a very valuable reason why people keep them confidential. That's why we need to be thinking about, okay, if these ones aren't confidential, why aren't they confidential? Okay, so let's look at this one here. So this is the website and the hobbies and games. It's AdSense. All right, let's click view listing. We'll open it in a new tab. So we will go to their website here, but let's scroll through the listing and see what they say. So it's a SaaS site, okay, 11 years old, in the pet space. So SaaS means software as a service. So people are using this for some level of software. And as you can see, this is quite common, for the pet industry to spike during COVID, right? In March, April, and May, and then just die back down, right? So there's been a big spike. Then I'd still be checking out, why is that the case, right? Why was the spike? Was it due to COVID? Because a lot of people were buying pets and spending more time with their pets. They've got a really good bounce rate and a really good session rate. So what you want to do is don't just look at Google Analytics that's plugged in here, is get access to the Google Analytics so you can look at that yourself. Okay, so there's the traffic, there's the channels. Okay, so a lot of it's organic, so that's quite a good spread of traffic. Most people are coming from France, and the revenue is up and down. What you want to be checking is, okay, so I don't quite understand what this site is. And that's a good thing for you guys to learn, is if you don't understand a site, is don't buy it. Because if you don't understand it right off the get-go, then it's not a simple and easy business model. So that's why I go, all right, cool, I'm going to run away from this business because I don't get it, right? It says it's a SaaS site, but it's also making money through ads, and most of its money is through ads. So if it's a SaaS site, then why aren't they making money through subscriptions, right? Through a software that people are paying for. I go, all right, cool, this isn't something that I want to go through. So we go back to the main thoroughfare and look at what they've got here. So confidential, Sugar Babe, it's a sponsored one. So as you can see, it is hard to find sites that with the .com that are looking quite decent around the 50K range, that have decent amount of years that aren't sort of confidential. So you can see the more established businesses are kept confidential for a specific reason, which I can't show you because then I have to sign an NDA and go through and not be able to show you that, because I've disclosed I won't share anything within that business. So we'll just keep going and having a look at what we can find. So we want to find something around the $20,000 to $50,000 price range. Instacaptain. All right, let's look at this one. It is a SaaS internet site. It's a year old. Let's look at what they do. So let's go to instacaptain.com, and I'm going to point out some of the risks involved and the opportunities to grow this business if it's a decent business. So it looks like the traffic's slowly starting to grow, which is really, really cool. Okay, over the last year that they've owned it, they're making about $880 net profit per year. It's on the platform PHP. So if you don't understand how to use PHP, you don't have a developer that can do that, then there's a risk there. Now, this guy is from India. He's selling it from India. And yeah, if you don't understand, it sounds like he could be a developer, right? He may not be as well, but you want to be able to understand PHP if you're going to purchase a business. Otherwise, this is a risk. So traffic's good. Like I said before, is make sure you get Google Analytics access. Average session duration, that's crazy. And the bounce rate's really good too. Now, this is because it is a SaaS site. So software as a service is what SaaS stands for. A lot of traffic's coming from the States. I'll be looking at, there is a risk here. 83% of the traffic is coming, that's direct, right? Organic search is very, very little. So how come they're getting so much direct traffic? What are they doing? That's a question I'd be asking. Like, how come they're getting so much direct traffic? So the numbers are all almost exactly the same. Let's see if we can look at what this is actually about. Get more Instagram followers with Captain. Okay, so with a site that this small, do you really believe that this is endorsed by all of these people? You know, Gary Vaynermedia, Forbes, New York Post, BuzzFeed. I would be skeptical about this straight away. So I'd be looking for an about page straight away, because if it's got an about page, about us, open that up. Okay, they've got an about page, which is good, but who's in control of this? Is that really their team? If they've got a team this big, then why are they selling this site for $20,000, right? So I look at this and I go, all right, well, if they have endorsements or they've worked with, and these companies have used their tool, BuzzFeed, New York Post, Forbes, I'm sure they're going to be making more than under $1,000 a month. And I doubt if they've got a team that's this size, which I doubt they do, then the business should be making a lot more money. So that's why I go, I'm going to put my skeptical cap on here, right? So it comes back to common sense. Common sense is really important when you come to looking at these businesses. So it's launched in October 23. So I guess that's, I don't know, obviously not October 2019, 23. So that's not great information. $45 for expenses, 2-3 month average life of customers, 25 to 30 people they've got at the moment. Okay, so 25 to 30 people are customers. Total clients, 75 paid clients. And of those 75, apparently a few of these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You know, 1/7 of those are some of the biggest brands on the internet. So is that a reality? And you can get sued for having these guys on here if they want to sue you for incorrect information, right? And devaluing their company possibly. Why are you selling the business? So they putting money into a different product. So these are the things you need to look for, right? Evidence of revenue. I'd be saying, all right, how do you actually capture the income? And can you log in and get viewers access to the merchant account for this site? So I'd be looking at that. So they've done a decent job at getting somebody create a video. You want to be asking, are these legit? Are these real? They could be. They got 75 customers, which is great. But the risks that are involved with this business is that these businesses, are they really with them? If not, you'd need to take them off right away. Otherwise, you don't want to be liable for something that could happen to you. It also says 5,000 plus happy users join Captain every month. That is a complete utter lie if they've got a total of paid clients 75 and total signups until now 1,500, right? Which the business has been around for over a year. With a business like this, like, it looks attractive. The site's built very, very well. It's nice, clean, good layout. They've got all the things like apparently social proof and all that sort of stuff. But you'd need to be questioning the business and thinking, all right, if they're saying that on the site, how come those numbers don't reflect this? Okay. So they could just be some things that you need to take off the site and make it more realistic. Okay. Go through the comments as well and check out what's being said in the comments. So the main things you need to get is Google Analytics access. You need to verify the income, right? Because if they're lying about this one thing, right? To cold customers, about 5,000 people. They could be lying about the income as well. You need to be running this through a tool like Ahrefs and working out how they're actually getting their customers. So that's a really, really important thing, is like, what's their marketing plan and how did they get these 75 people to sign up? Also, how much did it cost them to get those 75 people to sign up? So you know your customer cost per acquisition. Okay, so I'd be moving on from this site unless you are prepared to do some due diligence, even as practice, to work out how the business is actually growing. Here they say the business is perfect for people who don't have much time and can spend some time on marketing and optimizations. Okay, so that doesn't actually make sense, right? The business is perfect for people who don't have much time and can also spend time on marketing. So if you don't have much time, how are you actually going to spend time on marketing? So that doesn't make sense, that sentence, to me. Very good for people who can play around with retargeting ads, I'd agree, and social media ads. So you want to be checking, have they got any Google tags and Facebook tags on the site? No, they don't. Okay, so I've got a little pixel helper here and also a Google tag assistant, and I don't think they've got a Google tag on. Oh, they do. They got Google Analytics, but they don't actually have a retargeting tag. Conversion rate's 5%. You need to be verifying that. There are many other channels to explore, such as social media marketing, SEO, email marketing, optimization. So if they're not been explored, how are they actually getting their sales in, right? They're not using social media marketing with paid ads or SEO or email. I actually can't think of another way that they're getting clients and customers other than them knowing people in the industry and directing them directly to them, or doing some sort of cold outreach, which is an expensive task to do and hard to do it well, and not something that they're probably doing with the very little expenses that they've shown here in their profit and loss statements. Of course, the conversion rate can be tweaked. So as you can see, I'm just shredding this business apart. So I'd move on from this one, right? You got a lot of people watching it, but I can't see how somebody's, going to get a lot of values. It's selling for a 20 multiple, maybe a bit more of a 20 multiple, but it's not something I'd be investing in. So let's go back to the marketplace and scroll through and see where we can find something else. Action Video Maker, 8,000. I want to see something that's a bit older. Here we go. Menu Live, 2 years old. Food and drink industry. We'll get rid of the Captain guy and we'll go to Menu Live and see what they're looking like. And what do they actually do? Let's first understand the business model here. You need to be getting domain proof. There's nothing on this listing. There's no information. They haven't linked it up to Google Analytics. They haven't got any revenue information. They got no traffic information. If you're more interested, contact us, right? It includes the apps, admin panel, social media. Let's look at what this Google document is. Okay. So it gives you more information here, which is cool. Looks like there's a real person behind it. Obviously there would be. They don't have that much information. Why are you selling it? What's the period of support? How much effort goes into this day of the week? 9 to 10 hours a week. And they spend the money on redevelopment. Okay, so mainly, yes, it depends on many things. So that's not a very good answer if the team wants to stay on with the business. You'd need to ask some serious amount of questions more than this. Like, how much is it making? Can you get Google Analytics access? Can you get access to their merchant account and verify the income? What's their marketing plan? How are they actually getting the customers on? How many people are using the app? If it's a SaaS product, which I think it might say it is. No, it doesn't. Yeah, it does. It says it's SaaS. If it's SaaS, how many people are currently active on there? And how many people are paying and active? And what's the churn rate? Like, how many people stay on and how long for? So that's something to be looking at. So Menu Live and this Captain one, not so good. Let's keep scrolling. Here's a sponsored one. SEO, no. What's pro? WhatsApp marketing? Egypt. All right, so there's some of these ones that are confidential. I'd love to be able to show you, but I can't. So as you can see, there can be some diamonds in the rough, right? I've had some clients purchase businesses from Flippa. I tell people not to, but I've had people come to me and say, I purchased a business from Flippa, Jared, can you help me grow it? And sometimes there have been people that have found great deals. And I know there's other people out there that do find great deals. And as you can see, it takes a lot of work to scroll through and find these deals that actually are quite decent. So 4 years old, trust message. They got no information here for this one, unfortunately. So it's a SaaS, 4 years old. It's only got a 10 authority score on SEM Rush. The traffic has just taken an absolute dive and they're getting no traffic. 97, 197, 297, 95% profit margin, but how many people are still on board? That's what you're gonna be asking. Checking out what their Facebook is. I'd be getting access to Google Analytics and also their merchant account. And also, you know, for a SaaS business, you want to kind of go through their software and see how good it is. You'd have to be signing a non-disclosure agreement. But I mean, this business doesn't look like it's making much money if it's getting no traffic or anything like that. So they haven't really depicted it quite well here on Flippa. This is not looking good. Not looking good at all. Moving on from Trust Mag, let's try and find something that's quite decent here. Let's try and find something that I'd potentially want to do some more due diligence on. Unconditioned, 8 years, 25,000. And as I scroll through Flippa, let me show you some of the metrics I'm looking for. I'm looking if how old a site actually is, right? I'm looking if they've put monetization in, but they've got net profit here. I look at the asking price. Okay, so I look at the asking price, I look at how much money it's making, I look at what type of business it is, I look at the URL, and I look at the age. If it's under a year, it's not something I want to look at. If it's got very little profit or nothing like this, I don't like to look at it. If the asking price is below, you know, the $10,000 range, I tend to not look at it. Let's go away and look at, which one is this one? Unconditioned. So 8 years old, you want to be getting Google Analytics access. They haven't linked that up yet. Very low authority score. They're not spending much on expenses here, as you can see, but they're making about $3,000 a month. All right, so there was a peak here. Ask why that peaked and why it dipped. So it's made all its money in February 2019. So that's something I'm going to pass on as well. So as you can see, just keep scrolling, keep scrolling, keep scrolling. This thing means Google Analytics is approved, verified. So under this 1 year, no. So you do need to scroll through a lot to find them. And we may not find any in this sitting. Freeway tax, here we go. I like it because it's a .com. Most of these people saying these are SaaS sites. Big potential growth. They love using these big growth potential words. Buzzwords, I like to call them, or we all like to call them. We can see that the traffic's dipped a lot since the start of 2019, but through 2020 it picked up, looks like. Decent score. Looks like this could be, it's losing money. Okay, traffic is all over the shop here. I'd be getting Google Analytics access. I'd be getting merchant account access to check the financials. But it looks like this could be a legit business because they're showing you an annual net profit here of negative. And who in their right mind would actually do that if the business wasn't legit and they could see were somebody purchasing? Right? Maybe they're teaching us to lose money here because it's a tax thing, because it's a tax site. So let's go through this. It's a software to help customers electronically file heavy highway tax use. Okay, it's a great niche. I'd be asking how many people they have got currently and how much are they paying per month. What's the average duration people are staying for? So the platform is built on this. I don't know what that is. You need to be able to understand if you can use that or have a developer help you with that. It's got Trustpilot reviews. I'd be checking out those Trustpilot reviews. 48 of them. That sounds quite cool. So if they're mentioning that, I'm sure they know that you're going to go away and check that. So it looks like they're making money through Google AdWords. So I like this business. I like this business a lot. They've told you how they're making money. They've told you they got people on board. They've told you what it's built on. They've also told you they got some Trustpilot metrics, and they're being realistic about their numbers. Let's go away and look at the site. This is something I'd be doing due diligence on. I know it says it's losing money, but that could be because they put a lot of development into the business and they hadn't reclaimed the profits, and you as a new business owner possibly could. So looks like they've got their actual face on here, which is great. This is great for trust. So they got an email, they got a phone number. This is so good for EAT and trust. I want to see if they've got an About Us page. They don't, but they've got everything for contact here, which is really, really cool. They've got the face on the page. Here's the pricing that you can check. I'd verify that, but it looks quite good. Here's their About Us section. Here we go. We've got these two guys. I actually really like this. So let me show you dive a little bit deeper into why I like this business out of all these other ones. Okay. So the asking price is around 50K. It's aged. Then being realistic that it's not really making a profit, and that could be because they put a lot of development into it and they just want to leave this business. You can see that Curtis, is it Curtis? Let's go back and look if that links up. So Curtis here, right? So him and his brother or partner. So it makes sense, right? They're not hiding anything. I'd be getting access to Google Analytics, merchant account, like I said, going through their software, checking it out. I actually think this is worth you looking into, because maybe, this could be old information here. Maybe it started growing after here. Maybe it didn't, but this is what I'd be looking for, right? So let me point out some of the risks that may be involved with this before I point out some of the opportunities of growth that may be involved with this. The risks are, if people aren't spending long in their system, right, as members, then they could have a high churn rate. That's a risk. The risk is if AdWords aren't working, then you'd need to find another way to market this business. The risks are if the traffic's all up and down, then you need to find another way to market this business as well. The risks are not knowing what's going on past June 2020. So that's a risk. But all these things can be checked and all these things can be verified with good questions. And if you haven't already, get my due diligence framework. It's free. It's going to have all the questions you need to ask about the business to ensure if it's a good business or a bad business, to make sure you're making a good purchasing decision. So get that, and there'll be a link in the description for my due diligence framework, the 2.0 version, which has been updated for you. So get that. Now let's look at the growth opportunities. The growth opportunities could be that maybe the site wasn't making money when they owned this because they're putting a lot of money into development costs. But the growth opportunities could be if they're using AdWords, right, and it was making some sales, then lean into that and get better at AdWords and put more money into AdWords, right? So understand what their customer cost per acquisition is and lean into that. Another growth strategy is making this tool even better, and not just by putting more money and development into it, but just giving better support to those people who are using it so they can stay longer using it. I dare say this is the long-term investment that people will do this like maybe once a year with their tax, and they'll just stay on board. So there's some really, really good growth opportunities for this. Email marketing, you can do some email marketing. They've got over 3,000 customers. Oh, wow, 3,000 customers pay every time they use the service, along with customers who pay for a yearly unlimited access. Okay, cool. So that I'd be looking if they've got an email list and doing some email marketing as well. So this looks like a good business. All right, I like this compared to these other ones that don't have Google Analytics set up. They got a low trust score, unrealistic profits, 8 years old, and you know, what's this? Unconditioned. Let's see if I've got unconditioned up still. I don't, but it doesn't, it's just, there's holes, there's gaps, right? What we're looking for is where we can fill all the gaps. And that's what this actually does. So guys, that's it for the screen share. I hope you got a bunch of value from this. If you did, please let me know in the comments. If you have questions about Flippa or buying websites, please ask any and all of those questions in the comments there, because I do answer the comments myself. I love interacting and I love talking with you guys. So please just comment below anyway and say hi or ask me a question if you have one. If you haven't got my due diligence framework, please make sure you go away and get it. It does take all the guesswork out of doing due diligence, and it actually helps you minimize your risk. It is the best tool that I've used. And this is being a bit biased because I created the tool, but it's the best tool that I've ever used for doing any due diligence for website businesses. So get that, it's free. There's a link in the description below. And I look forward to speaking to you guys on the next one. Bye.